Hi, so I'm in the quest 3 this time. Again, we still see the same issues, so I'm just going to recenter myself again. And I'm gonna reset the head position again like before, and then we're gonna reposition. So I'm just gonna roughly do that. So the quest 3 has a bit of a better understanding of the space around, so we don't see our sinking into the floor. And in this case, we still have the same parameters. I don't have saccades because the quest 3 doesn't actually have eye tracking. But you can see here is that I can do this pretty easily now. And yeah, so this is just demonstrating the system at work. I'm going to try to do this without actually stopping my body. So yeah, this seems to be pretty good. I noticed that there's still some weird fluctuations going around. So you see on the ground what's happening here is that it feels like the system isn't really doing a good job, or at least is trying to position the environment in a way that makes sense. And I think what's happening here is that everything is relative to the boundary, the space environment and the boundary. So when it tries to shift over, that could be just because the tracking is kind of weird. Now, I've had mixed experiences of this, um, but it does seem to work. Um, so I think I'm gonna do a clean run just to see how well. I'm not gonna try to stop. I'm gonna shut up. And I'm going to see how fast I can do this. Should actually be pretty good as I'm walking around as well. So I'm gonna try to do this quickly. So one thing I'm noticing here is that I have to sometimes physically stop, and I know in urban scenarios that's not exactly the correct thing to do. So I'm very curious to see how this manual gain system will work. See, it fluctuates right there. I'm gonna try running through. I'm gonna do a light jog. I know where the boundary space is in the real world, so I'm not too worried about that. So one thing I'm noticing is that if you're moving too fast, the system cannot keep up. Or at least because what's happening here is that I'm trying to physically turn around my head, and when I do the manual rotation, right, it's based on my head position, and sometimes I need to rely on my peripheral vision instead because I don't always look in the direction I'm moving every single 100% of the time. And I think that's just a factor of redirected walking. So you kind of have to do this with the expectation that people are slow. They're like walking, they're not necessarily running. I know it's possible to do running. I just don't know in the current implementation how it's gonna work. One thing I want to demonstrate now is I have these obstacles in the world, and these are meant to be like fixation targets. So, like as I rotate my head, right? So we're gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna start looking at each of my individual, like, yeah. See already that has a lot of gain. So yeah, I think overall this is okay as an implementation. I'm not exactly confident, um, because of that jumping. I don't know if that's honestly just because of the space tracking not really working out. Could be due to lack of lighting. It could just be just shenanigans with the spatial track. You just need to do this every single time. But there is that.